We've done it. What? Stefan, what the hell was that face? We're officially live. And it looks like Stefan's dying.
Take forever.
I don't take forever. There's a very specific set of things that I have to do. Before I even come upstairs, I have to take a poop because I don't want to poop. I have to poop. I would never poop during the show, but I don't want to have to poop during the show. Would that be a violation of Twitch rules if I pooped during the show? Like, what if I pooped? What if I pooped and didn't show it though?
I'm gonna say yes.
But what if I don't show it?
It doesn't matter.
How is that a violation? I'm not showing anything. Like it'd be like if I pretended to make poop noises.
Sure.
Like, what if I was just like?
It's the same thing if you put a cat in a bag and then beat the bag.
That is not the same thing at all. It's not even close. You actually see somebody put a cat in a bag and beat it. That's not the same thing. Nobody knows whether or not I poop. It's a totally different thing. Yeah, I for sure would, but nobody knows. There's like an air of mystery. Anyway, we're Nerded Up. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done a show. We've been a little bit busy, and Stefan wasn't feeling too good. Stefan, how are you feeling now? Are you feeling better?
I'm all right.
Does your shirt say rabies or babies?
It's the Dunder Mifflin Rabies Awareness Fun Run Race for the Cure Pro-Am. You know, it's that thing.
I'm not even shitting you. I literally just got done watching that episode with Kara, and you had no idea that was what I was doing, what made me late to doing this show. Brandon's already watching us. He said, muted, I'm playing Tarkov. So
those are both lies.
I know for sure he's not playing Tarkov, but I actually do believe he would just have us muted. And he'd just be giving us the view because you're on it, Brett.
Maybe.
He said check Discord. Oh, is he actually playing Tarkov? No way. I don't believe that. Stefan was just playing Mordhau, which is a game we haven't played together in a really long time. I haven't played Mordhau since I upgraded my computer either, so I'm thinking that maybe that's something that's going to have to happen after this show. Lipton says, wow, what a weird conversation to come in on. No one knows if I really poop, and it's like beating a bag full of cats.
That's kind of the name of our show.
We said one cat.
It's
not
just
a
one
bag
cat.
full of cats.
Yeah. I mean, if you're an
cat.
optimist, it's a bag full of cats.
Right.
What? How does that make you? How is that a positive thing?
It's a half full bag, not half empty. Yeah.
I swear to God, at some point we're going to talk about video games. You said, oh, sorry, I'm the psychopath. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Yeah. So we're Nerded Up. Thank you so much for watching us. You can follow us on Twitter at nerdituppod. You can follow us on Facebook. Join our awesome Facebook community at facebook.com/nerdedup. Also, go find us on YouTube. Please subscribe. Help us get to that 500. YouTube.com/nerdedup. And if you're watching us on Twitch right now, then it's twitch.tv/nerdeduppod. Whether you're watching us on Twitch or on YouTube, follow, subscribe, like, share us out, because we do our best to give very mediocre opinions on whatever the ongoings in the video game world are. We got some cool stuff to talk about tonight. There's a couple of things that I really want to dive into because Twitch has a couple of problems that are really, really, really annoying me right now. And also, what does it mean when a video game is delayed? Especially, what does it mean when a AAA title is delayed nowadays? But just a couple of things, couple of news items that I want to get to before we dive into that shit. Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to PC, and I've been playing like Destiny 2. Destiny 2. Playing that on PC has completely pulled me away from the console. I have almost no desire to play any video games on a console right now, unless I'm laying in bed. And even then, it's not really a console. I'm playing on my Stadia in my bedroom, which doesn't count as a console. It's like I'm playing with a controller, but it's not a console. So Horizon Zero Dawn's coming out on PC, and I really want to try to play that game again and see what it's like on PC. But if you're part of the PC crowd and you don't have a PS4, Horizon Zero Dawn is a must-buy. I just thought that'd be an interesting tidbit. Brad, you never played that, did you?
I have not.
Because you're not a console kid. Stefan, you played it though, right?
Yeah, it's a bad game.
What?
It's a must play.
It is a must play. It's not a bad
boring.
game at all.
It's Assassin's Creed with dinosaurs. Just play like a Legend of Zelda. Just play Breath of the Wild.
Well, yeah, play that game.
Well,
that is also a good game.
When that comes out for PC,
I will. We'll dive into this conversation in a minute, but I'll tell you that Horizon Zero Dawn is a very good game, and Stefen's wrong on this one. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that he's wrong, even though he tends to be right about everything. Stefen's right.
Why didn't they just name the character Aloy? Why does it have to be Aloy? Like, I'm just frustrated with the names in that game. Like, clearly, everyone's name is supposed to be, like metal or futuristic adjacent, but they just pronounce everything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck you. Like, I don't know. It's the stupidest shit. Also, yeah, it's just Assassin's Creed dinosaurs. That's all. But it's Assassin's Creed dinosaurs.
It's very fun Assassin's Creed dinosaurs. So, if you're one of those PC people who don't have a PS4, try out Horizon Zero Dawn on the PC, and don't listen to Stefen's incessant ramblings about naming models in a game.
Aloy.
Whatever. Destiny 2 nerds are mad again, which I guess technically we are those Destiny 2 nerds. But the Wild Corridors of Time puzzle, that's very, very difficult. People are pissed off that the reward at the end of this puzzle is Bastion. And I don't care. Bastion, it's in the roadmap. It's supposed to release next week or the week afterward. Which one?
2 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, it's like 2. So you get a gun that some people have said they hate it. Carrie messaged us earlier and said that he likes Bastion. Bastion is a new exotic fusion rifle in the game. If you complete the Corridors of Time puzzle, then you get you get Bastion. If you don't complete it, you can wait for Bastion to come out. But I don't understand why people are so pissed that the reward. I guess I get that the puzzle is hard, but I just don't understand why people are so pissed and going after Bungie yet again, because they can access a gun 3 weeks early, based off of a puzzle, and they're so mad that it's not some secret special gun that they weren't expecting. Well, do you care about this at all, Stefen?
I mean, about the puzzle or about the gun?
about the gun being the reward of the puzzle.
Oh, it's people like just setting their expectations too high. Like, most of the puzzles in Destiny lead to some cool things here and there, but the big problem is that, like, data mining lets us know things very early. While yes, they did kind of spoil this when they did like the season pass stuff. We still didn't know. I think it's kind of cool that we get the gun early. I don't know what else people were expecting. It's not one of those things that I'm really upset about. I get that it was a really hard puzzle, but it was more of a puzzle for the sake of being a puzzle. It wasn't like a hidden puzzle. Like, it wasn't anything that, like, it was just like, oh, if you do this thing and this and blah, 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 you start the puzzle. It was literally walk up to Osiris and solve a puzzle. And it's just sort of one of those, like, yeah, I get it. There's a bunch of lore that you get and an emblem and stuff that, like, if you go through all the hoops, you can do that as well. I don't know. I just don't know what players are expecting at this point.
Is it the entire Destiny fan base, or is there a very specific sect of the Destiny fan base that you think gets angry all the time?
It's the vocal minority. There's way more people playing than there are people on Reddit. Like, that's
true. Yeah,
that's just purely how it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Brett.
I was just gonna say, I think people just probably wanted a thing that they could show off because they solved it. If then people are gonna be able to get the thing later.
But the thing is, like, once the solution is out there, it's not hard to solve. It's literally walking. Like, it's not anything special.
Sure. Yeah, like if you're like one of the first 5 people in the world to solve the puzzle, right? Or you're the first person to solve the puzzle, then maybe it'd be cool if you got something. But if you're like the 415,000th and you just you just followed the path that everybody has already put out there of the puzzle, then who gives a shit? We'll get to that in a second, Brett. Brandon's wondering if we've talked about how wrong I am all the time and how right Stefen is. That's going to be the name of this episode, is Stefen's right all the time. Why does Josh always fight him? We'll get to that. We'll get to that in just a second. Don't worry. But yeah, I feel like there's a very specific sect of the Destiny fan base, and it honestly, it's the converted Call of Duty bros. That's the section of the fan base that I feel like is the most vocal about stuff like this, because they're so used to just getting gimmicky bullcrap all the time, and if the second they have to do anything mildly grindy, they feel like it should be some ridiculously amazing reward that they get in return. When honestly, accessing content 3 weeks early is I feel like that's a pretty decent. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Like, not everybody's gonna have Bastion. Not everybody's gonna have it this early. And you get 3 weeks to have an awesome exotic that nobody else has. Just be happy with that. And the Destiny fan base just pisses me off, man.
And at the same time, we still don't know what's going to happen 3 weeks from now.
Right.
Is the Bastion quest the same thing? Is it the same gun even? Like, it could literally be a different gun.
Yeah.
Because it's all Vex time frame crap.
That's true.
And I know people are saying that they don't think this Bastion's very good, that it's kind of underpowered. Maybe we get, like, this Bastion is supposed to be our, like, future Dead Guardian's gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
and it's our favorite gun per canon, per lore. It is our favorite gun, right?
Right. So what if the one that we got is like an old Bastion, and what if we get a new Bastion in 3 weeks or something? Like it's a stretch that something like that actually happens, but who's to say? I mean, this is just part of what's going on. There's a storyline, and it's all time travel stuff. So anything can really happen at this point.
We're talking about the corridor of time puzzle on Destiny 2, and people being pissed off that an early version of Bastion is the only reward from it. I just want to talk about Destiny 2 in general. I've really enjoyed the Saint 14 quests and the Saint 14 storyline. Everything that I've gotten to do for it. Of all the complaints that we talked about it a few episodes ago. I think, what was it, before Christmas? We talked about this update and all the stuff that came along with it, like the sundial and things like that. Mm-hmm. For everybody that complained about how little content it was going to be and how stupid it was that they weren't releasing a whole lot of stuff, I've really enjoyed this update, or this season. I think the season's been a lot of fun. The sundial is pretty cool. It's definitely a new wrinkle in things. The quests for Saint 14 have been pretty fun. The time gated, I guess because I've been playing other things and busy, the time gated stuff doesn't really bother me. I do enough to get on and partake in the activities. But so I don't get it done immediately and then have to wait an entire week. I'm just now working through all of the Saint 14 stuff right now. So it doesn't bother me at all, but I've really enjoyed this season, and it's just, for me, it's just Bungie doing a really good job on another season. It doesn't have to be anything that blows us away. They could blow us away like once or twice a year. That's all they need to do is have that blow you out of the water content once or twice a year. But if they just keep doing seasons like this for the rest of the time, it's going to be enough to keep me interested in playing the game and wanting to continue to go. But I don't know, Brett, I know you haven't played a whole lot, but Stefen, how have you enjoyed this season so far?
It's been fine. I mean, I haven't gotten into it hardcore. I'm only like level maybe like 50 something on the season pass. It's fine. Like, I don't expect every DLC to be a Forsaken or anything like that. And I think that's what the problem is. A lot of people are expecting these $15 DLCs to be like blow you out of the water. Mm-hmm. No, it's to refresh the game and give you something to do, honestly, for like a month or two. Mm-hmm. They're not supposed to carry you for the next 3 months. Because if the rate at which people consume games like Destiny, it's impossible for a developer to come up with content.
Right.
It really depends.
And money. They have to have the funding. They have to have the funding and the money to do it.
But the players just consume things way too fast. And it's sort of those like people who if they go to a buffet, they eat like 5 plates of food in like 10 minutes. And then they're like, oh, I'm sick. I don't think I can do this anymore.
It's me every time.
Yeah. It's just, what do you expect?
Yeah. It's me. It's I eat until I literally have to go take a shit. Just so we're bringing it full circle. I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna find a way to bring every topic that we talk about tonight. I'm gonna find a way to bring it back to me pooping. But that's, you just eat until your stomach hurts so bad you have to go release it in the bathroom. I told you all about me at the buffet at Disney World when we went to Disney World, right? Did I tell you guys about that? Where I had to sit in a stall at the Crystal Palace. If you go into the men's bathroom, you go into the big stall at the Crystal Palace, which is the only one I could go into. It's kind of cool because it has a sink, but it also has a mirror above the sink, and the mirror and the sink are placed right in front of the toilet. So you have to have this it's like a
look at yourself.
Yeah, it's a mirror of shame where you have to sit there and watch yourself shit, and you can't look away. Like, you probably could but you can't. Like, you try to look away, but then you immediately, then you just spend like the next few minutes just staring at yourself, being like, "Fuck, why did I eat all those cheesecakes?" And you just continue shitting, and then you walk out like nothing happened, but you're scarred for the rest of your life. But that's my life with eating buffets. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Destiny
I don't know,
2.
but I think you think people are more like you than they actually are.
I know nobody's like me.
Okay, because you're like, you can't look away. I'm just like, I think most people could.
I could not. It was like a train wreck. I couldn't like a car wreck and you're passing on the highway. I couldn't look away from it. I was just like, wow, that's just a nasty pile of disgust standing right in front of me, and that is myself. All right, let's move away from the other pile of garbage and massive shits that is the Destiny 2 fan base, and we're gonna get into something that something that's been bothering me lately. A lot of people have some problems with Twitch, and Twitch has two very specific massive problems. Number one, before we play audio from Bad Bunny, I don't even know her full tag. I kind of don't want to give it out because I don't give a shit, but number one, like about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw this chick doing a just chatting stream. She was just chatting, but it was not. It was technically labeled as a Call of Duty Modern Warfare stream. And I've had some issues with Twitch not. Like, the Twitch platform is meant to be so people can stream their video games, and hopefully some people will watch them, and they can develop a brand, and they can grow a fan base and an audience, and they can interact and maybe make some extra money on the side and have fun. And you do that by streaming within these games and game genres, and you just continue to build the community. But that, like, as Twitch is allowed more and more types of content to be on there, which is great, and that's fine. Diversify the content. That's fun. That's good for everybody. That's good for the platform. There are a lot of women on there that stream in scantily clad clothing, which I have no problem with. Do you. Whatever you want to do, create a fan base, create an audience. But here's what I have an issue with. Some of them have started streaming under genres of video games, so they stream under Call of Duty, or they stream under Apex Legends, or they stream under whatever it is, CSGO. And they do it to try to take viewership away. It's like if somebody goes into Call of Duty and they're looking for a stream to watch, and they see this chick, a lot of guys are gonna click on that instead of watching Call of Duty, and they're poaching viewership. And I know, like, I'm not going to go on there. A lot of people aren't going to, or everybody's not going to go on there and look for a Call of Duty stream and be like, oh, a half-naked chick, I'm going to watch this. But it still poaches viewership, and I have an issue with Twitch not clamping down on that and not trying to fix that problem, because there's a lot of small streamers that want to try to get big, and if they've got other content on there that's not related to the game, I think that just takes away from the viewership of those small streamers. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe those people are going to get those views no matter what. I still think it's wrong to go on there and try to poach the viewership from other people that would want to be streaming Call of Duty. Now, on top of that, just the toxicity of some of these streamers nowadays is just getting ridiculous. And it's not every streamer, but I really do feel like people get on Twitch and start streaming, and they feel like they're supposed to have the same following as Ninja. They're supposed to have the same following as Tim the Tap Man and Dr. Lupo and other guys like that. It's almost as like there's this sense of entitlement where people go on and they just feel like they should get popular. Then I'm on Twitch now. I'm playing games. I'm doing whatever. I'm talking politics. I'm talking to you about working out. I'm on Twitch. Where's my audience? Where's my viewership? Stefen and I know better than anybody that It doesn't work like that. And maybe even when we started, there was a little bit like, for me, it was a little bit of, hey, I have a pretty decent following from being in sports radio. This will be a piece of cake. And it's not. And then when we finally started getting a following, I was like, hey, let's switch platforms. And it's going well. But in the long run, I think it will be better off. But we know, like, it takes hard work, it takes perseverance, and it takes a little bit of luck. And I'm going to play the audio. You got, like, Stefen, Brett, I had you guys listen to this before. Y'all aren't going to be able to hear this, and the audience will be able to hear this. But I'm going to play the audio of, what's her name again? It's Bad Bunny on Twitch. She is a political, I don't know if she streams games, but she has, like, a show where she talks politics. And on her stream, she literally started berating her audience. And you're just going to be able to hear the audio. You're not going to be able to see. You can go look at the clip if you want to, but honestly, it's just a bunch of toxic bullshit. But this is a clip of Bad Bunny berating her audience and asking them why they're not becoming subs.
To keep the stream going, if you like the content, blah, 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 how that results in 0 subs. There are regulars here. $5 a month. How do you have hours of time to watch me and not $5? I don't know. What are you doing with your life where you have hours of time to watch Twitch and not $5 to provide for the content that you're watching? There are I have a wall of non-subs. This is fucking actually really heartbreaking. Because it's like people just really really don't respect me as a content creator.
Fucking toxic as shit. I know I'm trying to be better about not saying curse words. And I know that I'm trying to be a better person and a kinder person and not judge people. But she is literally a massive pile of shit. You cannot berate people who are viewing you and watching you for not paying you money. You go on Twitch to provide the content. You have to provide content valuable enough for people to want to watch you. And then if you provide enough content that they like enough, then they can subscribe to you for that $5 a month. It's January. People literally just got done with Christmas, and you're berating all of your viewership and your fan base about $5 a month. $5 a month. What are you doing? We have an inordinate amount of time to be able to spend. We have so much more time to spend in the day. How in the hell are you equating spending 5 minutes watching your trash-ass bullshit on Twitch to somebody paying you $5? The sense of entitlement is fucking infuriating, and this is a thing that's happening more and more on Twitch. People are coming on here, they're coming on Twitch, they're coming on YouTube, and they just expect to just get paid. They're like, I'm on Twitch now. Why am I not doing this full time? This is my job now. Like, these morons that are like, look, people that become big on it and get paid and they quit their job. That's awesome. I know people who had like 10 subscribers quit their real jobs to go to Twitch full time and become a streamer. That is so stupid. You're an idiot and you deserve to fail. Like, it's literally, it's like, it's financial and I guess capitalistic Darwinism. You deserve to fail and your family's going to suffer for it, which sucks for them, but you deserve to fail. And this chick deserves to fail more than anybody I've seen on Twitch. This is the most egregious and atrocious display of me and just unadulterated, just fucking feeling like she deserves to have everything. Shut up. Mostly nobody cares about your opinion. They're watching you because hopefully they'll see a tip pop out. Like, that's really mostly what it is. And you can't sit there and berate them into paying you $5 to watch your dumb bullshit. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, there's a few people that care about you. Then there's slightly more few people that care about your content. And then there is a large majority of people in the world that don't give a fuck about you, and an even larger majority that don't know who you are. So don't sit there and assume you deserve people to be paid $5. Like, Twitch has issues, and it's allowing behavior like this to happen. Now, if people continue to watch her and continue to support her, then they're just as dumb as she is. But I hope she never gets another subscriber. I hope people unsubscribe because of that. I hope she fails. And I know, like I said, I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be nicer. I'm trying to be kinder. But she can go fuck herself. Any other thoughts on this chick? Any other thoughts on Bad Bunny Twitch?
No.
No, I think you got it.
Fucking.
But like, I personally think people should give me money because I'm funny as hell and I entertain tens of people, and no one gives me money just randomly.
Sometimes more than tens of people.
I know.
Sometimes like multiple tens of people.
Multiple tens.
Yeah,
I
multiple
know.
tens.
Like Brandon should be paying me all sorts of money for how much I entertain him.
Yeah.
You know.
By the way, I'm gonna pimp Brandon out real fast. Brandon, the guy that the last few shows since Brett's come on, but you go to Sleepless Elite TV. I think it's XX Sleepless Elite XX. Is that really his thing?
No.
Oh God. Oh, is that his made up Tarkov name?
Maybe.
I think it is. If he had the XX before and after Sleepless Elite, I would literally never talk to him again. Which I don't really talk to him that
wire to guard your name.
God, that's so terrible. All right, moving on to the thing that Stefen really wants to talk about, the thing he's been waiting about for this entire show, and the thing that I've been trying to delay. Oh, pun intended. Since we started this show, Stefen, freaking, I hate you, and you did it again. 2 weeks ago, when we had our Back from Christmas Break episode, we talked about the games that we were excited about in 2020. And almost every game I said I was excited about, Stefen kept shitting all over my hopes and saying that it was going to be delayed. And literally within that 2-week period, he called every single one of them. Final Fantasy VII has officially been delayed until April, that's fine. That's not a huge delay. And also, it's Final Fantasy VII. I've played it before. Dying Light 2, which I think when we talked about this game, we all kind of talked about how we weren't like super excited to play it. But I do remember Stefen saying, and I think jokingly because of how many he had said this about, but I do remember Stefen saying, and it'll probably get delayed. Like, we had a whole conversation about Dying Light 2. And then at the very end, he just throws in, and it'll probably get delayed. Well, it's been delayed indefinitely. It's been delayed to a non-date, which is real. To me, that's the worst. That's the worst sign. But then Cyberpunk 2077. This is the one that hurt, man. Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed until September 17th. Stefen, I'll let you talk about what you think in just a minute. But Stefen has a pretty intense opinion on this. But what they said, and the reasoning for the delay, is they want to play test it more. They said that they want more time because the game is so large, because the game is so massive. They want more time with it so they can play test a lot of the stuff and really, really get it right. Now, I'll say this: CD Projekt Red has a history of having good quality content. I loved The Witcher 3. I thought The Witcher 3 was an incredible game. It was a massive game, and I thought it was really good. Stefen doesn't agree. I know he's not a big fan of the Witcher series and the Witcher games, but The Witcher 3 I did really like, and it was delayed a couple of times. Now, so that's the positive, is that The Witcher was delayed a couple of times. It is still CD Projekt Red doing it, and so there's some hope that the game ends up being good. But I was interested, like, in games lately. In AAA games specifically, does a delay mean good thing? Is that a good thing, or is it a bad thing, or is it neutral? And my feeling was that AAA games getting delayed, that's not a good thing. And we'll go through like the list of the games that I found, but I really think that Cyberpunk 2077, I have a huge fear that this game's going to be a pile of trash, just like every AAA title that promises the world and then goes back on it because they had to delay, and then they had to delay, and then they had to delay. So now I'm really afraid that this game's going to be terrible. And I think it's mostly because I've been burnt so much lately by big games that have been delayed. But I'm really, really worried about Cyberpunk 2077. And Stefen, I'll let you go into... So when we first started talking about this, about Cyberpunk being delayed, what did you tell me then?
Well, I want to start off with, if CD Projekt Red keeps up their track record, Cyberpunk 2079 will be a good game. So like 2077 will get people in on the franchise, and then they'll be like, man, this game is obtuse and filled with like systems that no one wants to play with. What the fuck ever. Then 2078 will come out, and people are like, it's slightly good, you know. And then 2079 will come out, and it'll be called Cyberpunk 2079, The Wild Hunt, and everyone will love it and not even realize that it's the third game in the series, not even attempt to go back and play the first two, and just talk about how amazing that game is and completely ignore the two failures before it.
I liked Witcher 2. I thought
No,
Witcher 2...
you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No.
Yes, I did. I wasn't a huge... So the first Witcher game I played in early 2008, late 2007, early 2008, when I was stationed at Goodfellow in St. Angelo is when I played the first Witcher. I saw it at the BX. I was like, this guy looks like Drizzt. And so I bought the game, and I played it, and I was like, no, I'll go back to Team Fortress now. But The Witcher 2, I actually did like The Witcher 2 whenever I played it. It was a pretty decent... I was like, let's try this. This game, and for some reason, when I got The Witcher 2, I was like, I think I like the first one. I didn't. But I think I liked the first one. And so I played it, and it wasn't bad. It's not great, but it wasn't bad. But The Witcher 3 was a really, really good game.
I'm going with that's some rose-tinted glasses there.
Oh, whatever.
It is not a good game.
I've had a couple of White Claws. Shut up.
That's, you know, I think it's also kind of similar to like the Mass Effect series. I'm going to really compare Cyberpunk 2077 a lot to Mass Effect, I think, because they're going to... I think they're going to...
Watch where you tread, because I've been playing Mass Effect, and it is
right,
my favorite game of all time.
Mass Effect 1 is not a good game.
Wow, I'm just fucking...
Wow, that's two.
They bogged down. They bogged down their series, which at the end of the day is an ARPG, with too many systems for an ARPG.
The story is so good, though. Like
the story
is absolutely incredible.
Sure, the story is good.
And the RPG elements were pretty good.
No, they weren't. They
were. They were. It was a little bit too convoluted, but they were good.
Okay. You can't admit something's convoluted but also good.
Yes, you can. You can admit like, this system, this audio system that I like to use, it's very convoluted, but once you learn it, it's very good. Like I enjoyed my experience.
That's someone telling themselves it's good based on that they learned how to use something.
No. I literally just got done playing on the same character. I just maxed out at 60 on my third playthrough of Mass Effect, so I can go into Mass Effect 2 at a full level character. And I love the storyline. There's so much that you can do. The system, the dialogue systems, and the good bad systems at the time were really good.
Doesn't make a good game. Heavy Rain's not a good game. It's got a great story.
The combat was not the best, but it was not bad. And I love force pushing people all around the place. It depends.
Every game part of it was bad, but the story was good.
Oh, not every game part of it was bad. There were some good parts of the game. I thought the gun combat was fine. You had to level your guns up a little bit to become relatively accurate, and you had to get some good guns, but it was fine. The cover system was good. The powers were a little wonky, and they definitely got that better. They started to get that right in Mass Effect 2, but like the combat wasn't that bad. You know, continue. I'll be done. I'm sorry.
Anyways, I think a lot of these ARPG style series benefit for future iterations of the game after they've learned what works and what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And I think Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be the same thing. It might, maybe who did Mass Effect? It was BioWare, right?
BioWare, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe CD Projekt Red is like the second coming of BioWare, because BioWare did similar things with Dragon Age, mm-hmm. where like Dragon Age 1 was super RPG heavy, and while it did have its fan base, it kind of like it didn't like land well with the masses.
Time out. Very important question. I'm so sorry for interrupting you again. I'm going to start calling you Carrie because of how much I've interrupted you in this show. Did you like Dragon Age Origins?
The first one?
Yes.
No, not really.
Fuck me!
3.
Dragon Age 2, while it was a better game, realized
Dragon
that
Age 2 was garbage.
No, the issue that everyone had with Dragon Age 2 was that it reused assets way too often. You were going to the same places over and over and over again, and the game was sped up. It was a much faster game. As far as games go, it felt like a better game, but the story wasn't great and the settings were kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then of course the one that everyone loved was not the most recent, but the third one, Dragon Age Inquisition.
Is there? No, that's the most recent one. I don't think they've come out with another one since.
I thought they did. I thought they came out with like a small one, but it might be in the works or something.
Inquisition,
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Inquisition was good. That's the one that we played that together a little bit because they had the Horde mode we played, and that one wasn't bad. That one just didn't like. The problem with that one is the story just was like not great at pulling me in. Right. Anyway, it was a
slower game to go.
Right. Go ahead.
But anyways, I just feel like it's going to be the same thing with Cyberpunk. Judging from what they're trying to do with the game, where like your player character is like crazy customizable with all these upgrades and body modifications, like the game's gonna be dense. I don't have a question about that. There's going to be like things where it's just like, oh yeah, you could use this upgrade if you do this, but then do that, and then it'll disable these things in the world that you can do with this, and like it's going to have like A goes to B, goes to C, goes to D, then goes back to B. Like it's going to get dumb. And I get that's why they're saying that they have to playtest the game more. I guarantee you that's going to be what's going to happen, is that they have so many interwoven systems that things are going to break each other left and right. I don't think that's why this game got delayed the first time, though.
I don't think
because a lot of what you do when you're, game developing is you finish sections or portions of a game and hand it off to QA, and QA tests those portions. And then as they're going along, there's a sect of QA that's like doing larger portions and like, let me play through the first chapter of a game or play up to a certain section and do what they can. But a lot of stuff is individually tested as it's placed into the game. And I just don't see that like they would do huge sweeping changes to this game and say, oh, we have to test this more. Like that's how you break your games real easily. And I think they have. I've heard that CD Projekt Red has a crunch culture, and that's more prominent in the industry right now, and it's super toxic, and it leads to things like game delays.
Yep, it leads to things like game delays, and it leads to things like games just not being good, more so than anything, because they cut corners, and the crunch creates that environment of we have to get this out no matter what, instead of getting out a complete game. Brett, how do you feel about Cyberpunk being pushed back?
I don't know. I'm not super worried. Like I feel like it will still be a good game, but I'm just wondering about like also like file size of this game. Like games every year get larger and larger, and like with all the mechanics they're trying to put into this thing, I just wonder like
how big was Modern Warfare? Modern Warfare was like 80 gigs without updates, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is just absolutely ridiculous. That's a freaking monstrosity. Destiny 2 on PC is 85 gigs. So the game sizes are getting gargantuan. I will say this: if CD Projekt Red is the second coming of BioWare, and it ends up just being a convoluted mess compared to its what comes after it, then apparently I love convoluted messes. And look, my life is organized chaos. So that's essentially what Mass Effect and Dragon Age Origins are. And so I'll love it if they follow down that path. Brett, were you going to say something else?
No.
I'm going to list off some of the games before we end this. I want to and this is why I'm concerned. I really feel like AAA game delays used to mean, and maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe AAA game delays were always a bad thing, but I really do feel like AAA game delays used to mean good thing. For the most part, the majority of the time, they meant a good thing for the video game. It's not necessarily good to us, the consumer, or the one the ones that wanted to play the game because we're pissed off that it got pushed back. But for the overall health of the game on launch, it was usually a good thing. And I could be wrong. Like I said, I'll say it again, but I don't think I am. But in today's video game environment, the way games are developed, with the way publishers are, as big as the industry is, as much money is on the table, how these companies want these games to be developed so they can have DLCs later on and make even more money off of us. I think it very rarely means things are going well, and it's usually a bad omen. So I'm gonna pick the outliers real fast of AAA titles, that were delayed and ended up being, whether I thought they were good or not, or had even played them, but AAA titles that got delayed that were widely considered good games. And Stefen, you're not allowed to comment on 2 of these specifically, although the other 4 you are allowed to comment on. So the first 2 that were AAA, that were outliers, that were delayed, were Horizon Zero Dawn, widely considered, I think it was a Game of the Year candidate if it didn't win Game of the Year, and The Witcher 3, which is also a CD Projekt Red game like we brought up. Those were 2 AAA titles that ended up being pretty good games. They were both delayed a couple of times. Now, the next 4, I believe, are all games that Stefen's played. Maybe one of them he didn't, but they're all games that I think Stefen liked. But there's something very specific about these 4 games that set them apart from your normal AAA title. So the next 4 are Nier Automata, Persona 5, Code Vein, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. All 4 are Japanese titles. All 4 are developed by Japanese companies that have a relatively good track record of releasing games that have their full content or close to their full content on launch. They're also done by Japanese companies that are known for delaying their games, but there's never a fear that if their game gets delayed, there's never a fear that the game's going to be bad, at least for the fans of those titles and the fans of those companies. So all 4 of those games, Stefen, would you agree that all 4 of those were relatively successful?
No, probably not.
Well, why not? The Nier Automata was like one of the most successful ones of 2018. Persona 5 was too. Code Vein has been really...
No, Nier Automata was... I enjoy the game, but it was lauded. It was sort of like that indie movie for the Oscars. You know, that movie that always releases at the beginning of December, and it's like no one actually goes to see it, but it wins all the Oscars. That's Nier Automata. No one actually bought it or played it, but it won all the awards.
I played it and I thought it was pretty good. Granted, I rented it off
game.
I mean, it got a 90, but we're talking. It wasn't a massive flop. It has a 90% on Metacritic. Whether we liked it or not, it was largely considered a success.
It was not a flop with the critics. Right. I don't think it did well in sales.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like way overshadowed. If I remember correctly, there was something else that came out. I think it was like a Call of Duty or something.
That came out the same time.
That came out like the same week or something.
Well, all I have are the ratings numbers, and so we're gonna go off of those. And
the Persona games, again, they're real popular with JRPG players, but they don't do crazy well in sales.
Right.
You know, they do fine for what they are. They do well.
Both games,
but they're not.
I will say this: both games were nominated for awards. So whether the sales were good or not, these were games that were delayed and were at least successful in the genres that they
Sure.
are in. So that's how I'll say this. They were not wildly unsuccessful, and they weren't massive piles of shit.
Code Vein, while I like it, it is not a big hit with people. I don't think it did well in sales, nor is it really considered that great of a game. I do like the game quite a bit, but it is clearly just a Dark Souls knockoff.
Oh yeah, it's got like a 75%, but still not a massive failure. It was delayed, was not a massive failure.
I mean,
Right.
you can't make the sweeping assumption that everything delayed will be amazing. What was the 4th one?
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I was gonna say that got delayed for 2 years.
But this
is one of the best games of all time.
Right, and so that's why I'm saying these are outliers where they were delayed multiple times and they weren't the massive piles of garbage.
But I think that's the exception to the rule.
Yes,
I think a lot of times when games get delayed, There are noticeable reasons why games get delayed. You look at games like Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, hold on.
It's not there yet.
We're about to
Okay.
go. We're about to go through this list. I have a special list that I've developed. So we're going to start off with this gem that nobody's played, and the people that have played it said it's just a terrible, terrible game of what fetch quests. Number one on the it's usually a bad omen when a game gets delayed. Number one is Days Gone. How do y'all feel about that one? Terrible game from what I've heard.
I said it was going to be bad from the get-go.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, "Oh man, this is bad." And I was like, "I don't know what you were expecting."
Yeah.
And like people were really hyped for the trailers, and I was like, "These trailers show nothing except hordes of zombies and a guy running from hordes of zombies."
And that's all the game was just a guy running. I heard it was just a terrible, just going back and forth to the same places all the time, and I had never had any desire to buy it. Number two on this list, Kingdom Hearts 3. And these are all recent games, mind you. There have been games that have been delayed before, but I'm talking like games that have released within the last 5 years. Like the gaming environment that we're in today, that is just really, really toxic. And when games get delayed, that it's a bad omen for the game. So the next on the list was Kingdom Hearts 3. Now say what you were going to say about Kingdom Hearts 3, that's why I put it really high on this list so you could get to it quickly.
It's pretty hot garbage. Like, I played through the game to completion, and I would not play it again. I have no desire to pick up the DLC. It's just a mess. It's noticeable that this game was in like development hell, because there are certain areas of the game that are crazy finished and fleshed out, and there's a lot going on, and then there's other places where you could tell that it was just thrown in real haphazardly, real quickly, and the game is not good till like the last hour. Like out of
how many
20-hour
hours?
game,
Yeah.
in like a 20-hour game, the last hour when we omit everything Disney, and do we're in the area of like the final stuff, and then even at the same time, that last hour is all just fan service.
Ooh.
So it's like if you're a giant fan of the Kingdom Hearts series, there's just characters that are popping up left and right from throughout the series that you're just like, oh my god, it's Aqua, oh my god, it's Roxas, like you're just flipping out, like everyone's showing up for the big battle, and that's what was enjoyable. Like the most enjoyable thing about Kingdom Hearts is the actual original story, and it's for the most part omitted in that game. So like I don't know, there's stuff like that is just a real heartbreaker, because it was such a big title to look forward to.
Yep.
But got delayed for something like 3 or 4 years?
I think it was 4 years. I think it was almost 5 years. It got delayed for almost 5 years. But that's today's video game industry. When a AAA title game gets delayed, and especially if it gets delayed for a long time or multiple times, it usually means very, very bad things. I'm just going to start running down these. And if you hear one and you feel like I'm wrong, that this game was not a failure, then correct me. Next one is Crackdown 3. Really terrible reviews. Very bad game. Number 4 is everybody's fan favorite, Anthem. What a pile of garbage that game was. Incredible gameplay mechanics. We said it multiple times. The mechanics of the game and the way the mechanics worked from team member to team member was really, really cool. The rest of the game was trash. The Division, highly disappointing. It wasn't even really that fun to level, and then when you finally got to the end, there was almost nothing to do. And then whenever you got to finally do the first raid that they released, you could just cheese the raid at the end and get gear. Total garbage. This is one where people might disagree with me, but this is a personal one that I put on there. Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 got delayed multiple times, and whenever I finally played it, I was wildly disappointed, especially because Red Dead Redemption was so good. I was very disappointed by Red Dead Redemption 2. This one's another personal one, but personal because I actually enjoyed the combat of the game, but the rest of it was absolute garbage. But Mass Effect Andromeda got delayed multiple times. and they had the chance to finally take all of the elements that they learned from all of the Mass Effect games and create a really, really great game. And while I really enjoyed the combat and the way the synergy of all the different abilities, they put those together to create a really fluid combat experience, the storyline was garbage. I didn't give a shit about the characters, and the graphics were terrible. Another one was Vampire. I kept hearing about this game left and right before it came out, and then when it came out, it was a massive flop, and nobody liked it. I never heard about it again, and it got delayed multiple times. You liked Vampire? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad game.
So I never played it, so I wouldn't know. I'll the next one on the list, I'll save this one to the end because I feel like Stefen, you're gonna want to like this is a big one for us. The next one I'll save is Evolve. Evolve got delayed multiple times. That ended up being a massive pile of garbage, especially for people who love the Left 4 Dead series. Thought, oh my god, 5v1, this seems like an incredible game. And I think we played the beta 2 times. Mm-hmm. Like that it was trash. Battlefield Hardline is on this list because it was wildly unsuccessful, except for Stefen and I playing one game mode in cars where we sat in the back of these trucks and we would throw grenades at people. That's literally the only thing that we would do in this game. And it's some of the most fun I've had in a Battlefield game in a really, really long time. But for the majority of the time that we played the game, it was not a good game. The Order 1886. I thought this game was going to be a lot of fun. I tried it out. It was a massive pile of garbage. Next up on the list, Mad Max. Carrie, I'm so glad he's not on this episode. I'm so glad he's not doing this because Carrie loved Mad Max because Carrie loves bad things. Mad Max was not a good game. Mad Max was a terrible, terrible game, and I did not enjoy it. People were waiting for it. It got delayed. It was garbage. Now, the last one on the list, the one I skipped earlier, Destiny. Destiny got delayed multiple times. Stefen, you and I know, and Brett, you probably know the backstory of how Destiny's original storyline got completely trashed. They had to start over, and that's why it got delayed, because there was infighting in the company. There was multiple different directions they wanted to go. They didn't know which direction they wanted to go. The story ended up being a pile of garbage on release, and Destiny, although it ended up becoming a better game when the Taken King came out. And then Destiny 2, like we thought, oh, Destiny 2 might be all right. And Destiny 2 got delayed too, didn't it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I couldn't find out if it did or not. I did. Admittedly, I didn't look really hard, but I know Destiny got delayed a couple of times because we were excited about it. And when it released, I mean, it's fun. It's still the best gun mechanics I've ever in any game I've ever played, and that's the only reason people kept playing Destiny. Because it has the greatest gun mechanics ever, but the story took forever it took them forever to fix the game. And the same thing happened with Destiny 2. It released, it wasn't ready, they didn't put enough into it, and then finally they made the story better. But all of those games, Days Gone, Kingdom Hearts, Crackdown 3, Anthem, The Division, Red Dead Redemption 2, Mass Effect Andromeda, Vampire, Destiny, Evolve, Battlefield Hardline, The Order 1886, and Mad Max were all games that were supposed to be these massive AAA titles that were going to knock our socks off, and especially a game like The Division by Ubisoft, that was supposed to be their big thing. Anthem was supposed to save BioWare. Oh my god, if Anthem flops, BioWare's going to die. And now they're still trying to revive that fucking corpse. Destiny was supposed to be this massive game changer. It has been. But honestly, I feel like Bungie and Destiny have gotten lucky that they've been able to resurrect a game, that they were able to resurrect a game in Destiny 1 that was not good on release, and then somehow fucked up Destiny 2 on release and resurrected that game because their launch teams are garbage, and the teams that pick up after that have to fix everything, and they're incredible. But somehow, both times, they've been able to resurrect themselves. These other games weren't able to do that. And it's because anytime a AAA game gets delayed in today's video game environment, it means really, really bad things. For the reason that Stefen brought up earlier with crunch time, toxicity, and the toxicity of these video game publishers, the expectations of the publishers and these companies on these dev teams to create this experience where they can make a ton of money. These companies don't care about the games or the gamers anymore. They care about how much money they're going to make on that, that's always kind of been part of it. But now more than ever, they see how big a cash cow the gaming industry is and how much money they can make. Activision Blizzard last year, they literally made so much because they didn't have to pay anything in taxes. They got a tax return that they literally didn't have to do anything, and they would have made hundreds of millions of dollars in tax refund because of the tax cuts they have. That's how big of a company they are. These companies, they don't care about the quality of the games, and they're putting undue pressure and undue crunch time on the devs. So the devs they shorten stuff, they take things out, and they don't put the care and the time that they need to into it. And so we get the Evolves of the world. We get Anthems. We get these games of the Division. We get these games that are these wildly hyped games that end up turning into crap. So for me, a game delay is a bad thing. And not like a game delay, multiple game delays, long game delays. To me, that's a bad omen for any game. And I don't know if you guys feel that way. To me, I like if a game gets delayed, I'm just gonna automatically assume it's gonna be really bad on launch. That's just how it works. I don't know what happened to my hair, by the way. It fucking looks nuts. But I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Do you have that same fear that as soon as you hear of a delay, you're like, crap, that game's gonna suck?
I don't have that fear. It depends on the company and like who's behind that company. Like Cyberpunk, because they've had past issues, but like figured it out with like The Witcher 3, I think they have a chance of still making a good game. But like, I don't know. A lot of those games.
I thought the same thing about BioWare. I thought, well, a company like BioWare can't screw it up. Oh, and like Ubisoft, they're a really big company. They can't screw this up that bad. Right. Bungie, they can't screw this up. They've done it before.
It's not the size of company though that matters to me. It's just the people there. Like you can kind of tell from a company like if people are still excited about a game and stuff, or if they're just like, yeah, we're gonna get it out. It's coming, guys. It's gonna be there.
I think a bigger sign that I don't think it's going to be a great game, and this is going to sound weird, is the Keanu Reeves aspect of the game.
Nice. You were right once again.
Yep.
No, it's one of those the need to throw a celebrity and advertise a celebrity as a feature has never really worked well for any game. It's more of a draw factor for the game. It's like, hey, are you a fan of Keanu Reeves? Come check out our game. He's got Keanu Reeves in it. Why should that be a draw factor for the game? You know, there's other games out there, games that I definitely enjoyed that have put celebrities in it, but it's usually not a good thing. You know, you look at something like not Quantum Theory,
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. Quantum Theory is an Xbox 360 game. Quantum Break, where they had the guy who played Iceman. I just forgot his name. You had the guy who played Iceman and X-Men and Littlefinger and a bunch of
yep.
And it had like this TV show aspect to it. That was the worst part about the game. The story was great, but those characters and stuff, it was a bad draw. I want to say there's other games that they're not. Let's see, games with celebrities.
Well, I'll bring the more Call of Duty had commercials that had celebrities and athletes in them, the worse that Call of Duty was. Like
Kevin Spacey in Call of Duty.
Yeah,
we completely forgot that because that was Kevin Spacey, and we don't talk about him anymore. But
the more they started adding celebrities to the Call of Duty games and their marketing, the worse the games started getting in the series.
50 Cent, Blood in the Sand.
Ooh,
good game.
Very good game. Very good game. We need to do a list of good and bad celebrity games. 50 Cent and Shaq Fu will be at the top of the list.
Michael Jackson and Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Kim Kardashian and Kim Kardashian Hollywood.
Now you're just reading games that have celebrities in them.
Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Are you?
It's a good game.
Right.
That's actually a good game.
Ricky Gervais was in Grand Theft Auto 4?
What? As what character?
As Ricky Gervais, I guess.
I feel like I need to play through Grand Theft Auto 4 again now.
Jeff Goldblum was in Call of Duty Black Ops 3?
I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. The feeling the need to have a celebrity in the game does feel a little weird. And while like, you know, the E3 thing, I was super hyped to see Keanu come out and do that. Like it does feel like they're trying a little bit too hard. It does feel like they're pushing a little bit too hard to make it cooler than maybe they're afraid it's just not going to be good enough and it's not going to be cool. And then Keanu Reeves gives that John Wick cool factor. So I don't disagree with you there. I just know I'm really disappointed that it got delayed, and I really do hope that they're just giving more time for playtesting. But Stefan, I think you're right. I think the game's going to be bad, and originally whenever we talked about it the other day, you said you don't think the game's even going to release on the date that they gave. And I think you might be.
What was it? They pushed it to September.
September 17th.
Yeah, 17th.
I don't think that's happening.
Right, and now I don't think it is either. That's a really weird date too. Like, why would you just not push it back to November when all the biggest games release? Well, why would you? Like, even games that seem to release in the fall, sometimes they tend to release in August, not September. September is a really, really weird date. But I'm worried. I don't think Cyberpunk's going to end up being a really, really good game. And my concern is because it was delayed. Because games that get delayed, AAA titles that get delayed now end up being bad. Almost every single one of them. They end up being bad if they get delayed multiple times and for long periods of time. And that's happened to Cyberpunk. That's happened to Cyberpunk twice now. I don't know what's going on with my body.
Do you think that the time when they choose to delay a game matters at all? Like if they do it a couple months out versus
yes.
Yes.
No, I think that's huge. I think it's very telling that we are. What was Cyberpunk? March?
April 16th.
April, yeah.
So we're 3 months out, right? Give or take.
Mm-hmm.
You're delaying the game 3 months out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That means that could mean a couple different things. That could mean there's some fatal errors that you didn't see till the very end, or you're kind of, again, I think it's very much into a crunch time environment, where it's okay, yeah, we it's gonna come out in April and we're gonna start really crunching down in November, and you get a couple months into it and you're no, this is way more than we can handle. We need to, because these decisions to push a game back aren't made at the drop of a hat. Right. These are made a month in advance, where they're in the boardrooms, they're talking about it because they don't want to budge. It's bad for the marketing. It looks bad on the game. And I think the time frame in which you also delay a game is huge. I think there's something to be said about going, all right, look, guys, we need way more time than we thought we did. Mm-hmm. Well, give us another year and a half. Give us another year. And then we can really put out some quality product. But another thing with this would be they're just delaying it. So April, so it would be 5 months. It got delayed 5 months, another 5 months. Right. In a game development perspective, that's not a lot of time.
No, and it's
to really do anything big.
Now, the combination of those two things is what makes it really weird for me, where it's the combination of delaying 3 months before release and then delaying it for 5 months. The combination, look, if you're 3 months away from a game releasing and you delay it a month, I understand. Think about Shadowkeep. Got delayed. What was it, an extra 3 weeks, a month?
2 weeks.
I think. That's delaying it that short amount of time doesn't really bother me. That's we just need a little bit of extra time to make sure all of our ducks are in a row. That's fine. But when you're 3 months out and then when you delay for longer than it is the time frame that your game's supposed to come out, then I get really, really worried. What made you ever think that you were ever going to be able to release this game in April if now you had to push it all the way back to September? But Stefan said, if problems are that big that you need to delay it until September, then why only go to September? Why not go even longer? Why not go until January of 2021, right? That's what really, really concerns me, is the combination of those two things, where it's really close to release and then you ask for that much more time. I wish I had a job that let me do that. Be wasn't really feeling it today. Can I do this 5 months from now?
And that's what makes me think it won't land in September, is that these dates are not decided on by the game developers as much as they are the board of directors or whoever is in publishing and marketing. Mm-hmm. The publisher is going to be the one that's really setting the date and kind of putting that time frame out there as they're pretty much bankrolling the game. Mm-hmm. And they're just sort of going, all right, you guys we can give you 5 more months. We need this game to land before Christmas. Mm-hmm. That you're working on our time schedule. And if the company they're going to agree to whatever they can agree to, assuming that they can do things in time. And
Right.
that's where this crunch time environment comes in.
Yeah.
And then 5 months later, they'll ask for another extension.
Yeah, they're like, it's not done. We cannot release it in this state.
If they do
Right.
that, I'm never going to play the game. Okay, that's a lie. If they do that, I won't play the game until it's on sale on the Steam Summer Sale for like $15. That's when I'll play the game.
Yeah. So if it actually releases in September, I'll have way higher hopes than if it doesn't.
Then if it doesn't, yeah.
Yeah.
If it gets close to September and they say that they're going to delay it again, then I have no hopes that the game's going to be. I literally won't buy it. I won't until unless I'm going to start employing Carrie's philosophy, where I need like 3 or 4 people to tell me it's a good game before I'll even consider buying it. Where it's like, if it gets delayed again, I'm not going to, and then I'll wait until it's on sale. I mean, it's a single-player game anyway. I should probably already do that, but I can't, because I can't go without buying a game, because I get FOMO, because I feel like I'm going to miss out on things, and there's a word for that. I think it's called fear of missing out. Oh, yeah, FOMO. And I'll end up buying it if it doesn't delay, but if it does delay again, I'm going to need you guys to help me be strong and not buy it. Maybe one of these days, you know what's going to happen? Stefen's going to say, Josh, don't buy it. And he's going to be like, it's going to be a bad game. Don't buy it. And I'm going to be like, I have to go buy it now. Now, because you told me it's a bad game and I can't buy it. Now I immediately have to go buy it. All right. And do any more thoughts on that before we go ahead and end this shiznit?
No,
I think we're good.
I think I was mildly sexist halfway through the show and said something about getting somebody's tits out. Thinking about that in hindsight, I didn't mean it the way it sounded, but it definitely sounded that way.
Yep, that'll be clipped later.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, no, I mean probably not. I'll clip it. I'm gonna clip it, but I'm gonna leave that part strategically out of the rant. But yeah. Anyway. All right, what's going on, Palau? Palau pulling up now that we're ending the show. You couldn't have gotten here an hour and 8 minutes ago, Palau? Really? My God, man. Go back and watch it. Hey, you can either watch it on our Twitch afterwards and past broadcasts, or you can watch it on YouTube whenever we get it up there tomorrow. But thank you so much for watching us, guys. We are Nerded Up. You can follow us at Nerded Up at Nerded Up Pod on Twitter, Facebook.com/Nerded Up. You can go to YouTube.com/Nerded Up and follow us and subscribe to us. Help us get to 500 subscribers. If we get to 500 subscribers, then even more people will start subscribing. Oh, Palau has been watching. My bad. And now he's going to stop watching because I shamed him. Oh, no. Right. You know what?
You're shaming our viewers.
But look, I've always shamed our viewers, and I do it in a really fun kind of way. I don't just I don't berate them so they'll give me money. But yeah, go to youtube.com/nerdedup. Subscribe to us on there so that we can beat the YouTube algorithm. And if you're watching us on Twitch, twitch.tv/nerdeduppod. Give us a follow on there. You don't have to subscribe. We just want the views at this point. We'll start yelling at you to give us money later on. But right now, we just want the views. Appreciate everybody that watched us and check us out. I don't know. Check us out next week on a day at a time that we designate when we do that. Appreciate you guys. Good night.